Hello, and welcome back to Minecraft. This episode will be very different. It's not a normal episode. Just recently, I died in one of my hardcore worlds, and I spent a very, very long time on it. An unhealthy amount of time, you could say. It's called Gurando. That's just like, it just means grand. It just means grand. It's a silly way of saying grand. So I thought I'd show you how I died. It was a very silly way to die. So here it is. This is a tree farm, or at least it was supposed to be at some point whenever I finished it. But up here, this is a TNT duper. At least it was supposed to be. And as you can see, there's a lot of my stuff over here. Why is that? Well, I placed the TNT last in the duper. And apparently you're not supposed to do that, because the TNT activated, and the TNT destroyed me forever. And for some reason, Mojang made it so that even when you're 1 or 2 blocks away from TNT... Did I just equip that? I did. Now there's 2 of them. How odd. But anyway, Mojang made it so that even when you're like this distance from TNT, the TNT was right there. So when you're this distance from it, it kills you instantly, even when you have 3 pieces of netherite armor on and a flying suit. So thanks, Mojang, for your TNT damage numbers. It's very appreciated. It's ridiculous damage numbers. Why did they do it? But anyway, that's what I was building right there, was a tree farm, and then I died. So whenever you're building with TNT, just make sure you have an escape plan. I did not have one. I did not have an escape plan. That's why I died. But anyway, what you can see over here is basically a creeper farm. But there's a twist. At the bottom of it, it has a skeleton that shoots at this guy, this iron golem, but there's this slab in the way, so it can't actually ever hurt him. So it's kind of like, I like how it is sort of shaped like a gun. It's always shooting. But anyway, once a skeleton kills a creeper, this is a creeper farm, I must remind you, once a skeleton kills a creeper, it drops a music record for some reason. I don't know why that is. But that's just how the game works. It drops music records. So this is a music record farm. Infinite music records. And if you look behind me, which is what I've been trying to avoid doing, you will see a massive, huge platform I made pretty early on in my world. I just made this so that I could make tons of sugarcane. Just manually, tons of sugarcane. And then on top of it, I built a few other farms. Like, here's an infinite snow farm. You just dig out that one piece of snow, and this guy will infinitely generate snow underneath him. So it's just infinite snow. And then you have the bee farm. You get infinite honey. And honey is like a second form of slime. And slime is very sticky. So you have 2 sticky substances. Anyway, here's a manual tree farm. You place all the trees and then you dig it all out by hand. I was making that so it was a more automatic tree farm. And then over here, you have a rail duper. It dupes rails, duplicates them. I'm not sure how it all works internally in the game, but if you have 1 block right there, and then rails on top of slime, and then you have it be constantly pulled back and forth, then it kind of acts like the rail is supposed to pop off, but also it's supposed to stay on the block. So it does both. And then you can just get infinite rails of any kind. So there's your rail thing. And then here is what's it called? Phantom. It's a phantom farm. You just stand in there and you wait for the phantoms to come at you, and they just can't hit you, but you can hit them. And that's what I call good, fair, and nice. Anyway, This is a, basically it's a massive furnace. There are 64 furnaces in this huge machine, and it can just smelt things very quickly. And it still works. Even in modern updates of the game, it still works if you just do it to a T. I get all these designs from Shulkercraft. So if you just follow the Shulkercraft tutorial, and you do it to a T, it still works. Still works in the game. Huzzah! But anyway, underneath this massive plate in the earth, you have what was gonna be a pig farm, you have a sheep farm, you have a cow farm, and then you have actual chickens and sheep over here, and then you have a wool farm. There are 16 colors of wool, and as you can see, there are 16 colors right there, which means that's all the colors of wool in the game. And it just automatically keeps collecting more and more wool. I recently set up like 12 of these colors because I had 4, and then I was like, well, why not have the other colors, all the other colors? And then when there's too much, the regular design just has 1 chest, but I add a second chest because this thing gathers a ton of wool. And I was actually thinking of a different design that you could like put inside of a big wool block that you could make, and maybe have like 4 sheep sheared at a time. But who knows, maybe I'll do that one day. But yeah, you just stick a bunch of shears in there, and the sheep get sheared very often. As soon as they eat this grass, then they get sheared, and as you can see, they're all naked. But recently, apparently, they added a better sheep texture underneath their regular sheep skin, so you can still tell, like from a distance, what color they're supposed to be. That was me fake coughing because there was real phlegm underneath. Anyway, you have your very basic, whatever that's called, farm. What is it? It's nether wart. You have a wart farm for warts. Then you have your bamboo, which I probably got off the trader. I'm not sure how I got the bamboo. I like these new cactus flowers that appear on top of the cacti. But anyway, yeah, I built this massive thing to get all the sugarcane very early on, and I wanted to be fancy with the stairs, so I made them like that. I made them wrap around. I'm sure there's a fancier way to do it, but I'm on hardcore, and I wanted it to be safe. So I put these blocks at the corners so I wouldn't just run off. And I also put littler farms up here, pumpkins for the jack-o'-lantern lights, and wheat for all of these creatures. Chickens like seeds, so if you don't want to throw away your seeds, you can feed your chickens. And then down here is an invention of my own creation, something I figured out on my own. You stick stuff up there, it goes into the composter, and then it automatically composts stuff. Makes you bone meal. Currently I have all this wheat in here just because I needed a place to store wheat. And then you have tons of nice little puppies. You might recognize this house from the Minecraft series that I've been doing. I've sort of tried to recreate this house in that series. But here's lots of nice little wolves, little carpet. And then where I've survived most of my hardcore days on this world, which I've survived 630 days. Or I guess 629 days, if you don't count this day that I'm on. I found 1 horn in all that time. 1 singular horn, and I did check out a couple of different pillager towers. I did check out those. Here's a little banner thing I tried to make. Those are the ropes, and then big banner with that like goes down and stuff. And then these are supposed to be like rope connections from the banner onto the actual rope. I think it looks okay, but I probably could have done a lot better. But I don't know advanced building techniques like some people. Anyway, here's a map of my world. That's where we are. And then way over there, there's a village. I'm going to show you that soon. And then that's a farm right there. And then there's another farm over there. I just didn't update the map yet. And then there's a big mushroom island over there. It goes all the way down there. This huge mushroom island. Very nice and peaceful place. And then all that snow, tons and tons of snow. For some reason, I've been finding more snow worlds lately when I've been generating worlds. But anyway, this was actually supposed to be longer. It was supposed to be as long as those struts. But this strut was going to run into the roof. And instead of changing the roof pillar, I just made this shorter. I should have changed the roof pillar instead, because I could have made slightly more wheat or other sugarcane in that time. Here are 3 chunks that I just dug out. Almost dug out all 3 of them. Nether portal, which we will enter soon. And then here's the grand storage hall, which looks very basic. It's pretty much just the storage system with very little thought into the actual visuals of it, how it looks. But this is all legitimate, except for I made a netherite upgrade thing. I searched like 2 bastions and did not come out of them with netherite upgrade templates, which you used to just upgrade things with netherite without the template being needed, but I hate it. I hate that you need the template now. But anyway, I cheated one of those into the game, and then I got rid of all of the regular diamonds I had up to that point to justify my cheating it into the game. And then I got a lot more of them by just finding diamonds, and then making more netherite templates. But anyway, portal into the nether. Yeah, I portaled onto a bastion in this case. And that wasn't my first portal. My first portal was a natural portal I found near my base. And look, this is where it came out to. And I just didn't realize for the longest time that you could just see both portals like that from there. But now I know, I now notice it now. I do now. Right now. And I made this thing. This is a respawn anchor. It lets you respawn in the nether. And then if we go all the way down here, I made a huge bridge just to like safely cross into a, what do you call it, a stronghold. I think that's what it's called, at least, a nether fortress. I think that's the actual name. I just didn't want to dangerously go into the stronghold, so I made all of this to safely travel into one. And somehow it all worked. It all worked out. And then if you follow it all the way over here, then you can see there is a blaze farm. Basically, the blazes spawn in and the lava pushes them into there, and then you whack the blazes. And I put doors there just to be fancy. They're copper doors. They may look like wood, but they're copper, so they're a little harder to bust open. But yeah, blaze rods. And then I didn't have time to do anything else with this before I died. But here's kind of what the bridge looks like from a distance. Ta-da! Isn't it cinematic? Wait a minute. What button is it? It's 1. Isn't it cinematic now? Now that there's no HUD at all in the game. Isn't it more cinematic? But anyway, if you go down this path instead, then you will find a mob spawner. Also that guy down there. That guy. But if you go all the way up here, you'll find a mob spawner. And I made this storage system underneath it just to go through all of the different kinds of loot. And then there's all of this too. I could have made the storage system longer and then have bottles and stuff be automatically picked up, but I was too lazy to do it. And then you just hit those guys. I made it its maximum length, I think. at least as high as I wanted it to go, which is 5 high, 5 layers high. You could have this just be 1 layer if you wanted to, but I didn't. But yeah, there's the creepers and skeletons and zombies that you can kill in there. And then there was another portal in the Nether, and it just goes over here beyond this mountain. There's a village with villagers. This is kind of what I'm trying to make in the regular survival series, which is a 9x9, or rather 3x3 huge square area just to build things in the different squares. Here you have a villager farm. It's double-sided, which means you get a lot more villagers. I started it off by having carrots be the thing that's planted, but they always just sneak in beetroots for some reason, and beetroots stink. But anyway, here you have a 4-sided iron farm, which never works because these guys, whenever you load in this area, have to sleep a whole night in order to get the thing working again. And that's for all sides, which is why I made this ladder up to it, so that I can just knock out that torch and then wait a night, and then put the torch back and then wait more nights to have more iron. And then this one, I just made it stop working because I have all those over there, but for some reason it still gives me iron. These guys are still scared of that zombie hopping up and down. I don't know how these guys got up here. This is my trading hall, but for some reason these guys got up here. I did not put them up there at all. There's a weird glitch there. But anyway, that was the first iron farm I made, and yes, I made it this close to a house that I had here. And yes, I destroyed the house to this degree because I wanted to. And I had to make this road in its way. But anyway, I made it this close to this house. This close to this house. And of course, iron golems always spawn on top of the house instead of where they're supposed to, which is up there. So don't make this close to anything, pretty much. Don't make an iron farm close to anything if you want actual iron out of it. I had all kinds of villagers in here, and I was planning on curing these guys, but never got around to it, because I was going to make a gold farm at some point, and then have tons of gold to make golden apples and cure all of them. But I didn't. I died. But anyway, here's another portal, one of those portals. And then way over here is a slime farm, because apparently now you can just make these things above ground. That's one reason why I dug out so many things underneath my base, so many chunks, was to build a slime farm. But no, apparently you can just build it above ground now, and it can have very good rates. I got like 9 stacks of slime from waiting around just for a little bit the other day. But anyway, right now, I'm gonna show you a tunnel I made. Back before I made these nether tunnels, which are way faster, I made an entire underground tunnel. I guess it's still underground now, because it was right next to the house I made there. There it is. Give me that. Yeah, I made this underground tunnel from my base all the way to here. And then I was like, you know what, I could just make a nether thing and probably transport villagers to my base easier. And then I decided to not transfer villagers to my base at all eventually, because it was just so easy to travel through the nether and get to my base that way. But anyway, I dug out all of this by hand, just to get to the villagers, and without any diamond tools. I did this with regular iron stuff, because I'm insane. I'm a madman. And this goes for like hundreds of blocks. And I was planning on having a whole railway system under here, just to get villagers from that place to my place. And then I made the nether way. The way of the nether. And it was way easier. and faster. So if you have a choice of tunneling to somewhere and just using the nether, then just use the nether. And look, we're back at my base. It took so long. I even named what was at the other side of this tunnel to Village and Mob Killer Farm. Oh yeah, down here, that's the sorting room up there. It's the sorting room and the nether portal. But down here, you have a glow squid farm, because I like glow squid glow sacks, which can make signs glow, and apparently it's full. But yeah, I like glow ink, and this is like the most efficient way to get it. And then all the way down here you can see all of the stuff I was digging out just to get more materials like diamonds and gold and redstone, mainly redstone for that huge contraption up there, sorting contraption. And this is the ladder I originally made when I was digging out the first chunk, which was this chunk. And that was just to like get to the bottom of the earth, make a whole chunk to the bottom of the earth. Or whatever you can call this planet. But anyway, that's my base. That's what I made with 629 days in Minecraft. Minecraft days, not real life days. A Minecraft day is like 30 minutes at most, and at least 15 minutes. Then you have little lava lakes. Those are nice. But yeah, that's the first portal I made. But anyway, the end. That's the end of the video. You can click off now. You can go away. You can go home.